Baudette, Minnesota is the gateway to Lake of the Woods, a body of water that teems with quality walleye. Lake of the Woods also has the distinction of being one of the first bodies of water to freeze each winter, cementing it as the place to be for early ice walleye action. This week, Jake Romanack is fishing out of the famous Adrian's Resort in search of first ice gold.
There we go. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. Oh yeah. You guys are gonna have to excuse me today. This cold weather, I lost my voice. But we're out here on Lake of the Woods and we're gonna catch a pile of walleye today. That's a good way to start off the morning. Still dark outside. Got the lights on in the shack. Nice eater walleye. Hopefully we catch some bigger ones today. I'm gonna try so hard this episode to keep it together. My voice is gone, but hopefully I can show you some techniques on how to catch these fish and how to be successful out here on Lake of the Woods. This is a beautiful fish. All right, it's that witching hour of the day where we're gonna catch a lot of fish in a short amount of time. I'm going to go ahead and get this fish back and get reset up for another one. But a lot of times when it comes to walleye fishing in the winter time, it's that first light bite that's so good. So you want to get out here early and get set up. So as soon as that sun starts to come up, you can capitalize on a lot of bites.
The setting for this week's episode is Baudette, Minnesota on beautiful Lake of the Woods. And if you're not familiar with this area, it's one of the northernmost cities in the continental United States. So as you might imagine, they get ice really early in the year. And that's one of the big draws to Lake of the Woods, is that it freezes up sooner than just about any other major ice fishery in the country. That's one of the draws. The other draw is it's just literally overrun with walleye and sauger. Quality fish, quality fishing.
One of the things I love about this dead stick is you can see that rod's just loaded right up. And go ahead and set the hook on that fish. There's a pretty good fish right here. The nice thing about that soft action rod is you can see that rod load right up. Not a bad walleye, little 17-incher or so. One of the things about Lake of the Woods is there's a lot of this size fish in the system. It's a great place to go if you're looking to catch a lot of eater walleyes. But the thing about Lake of the Woods is there's really giants in this system. So it's one of those cool places where you can go and catch a lot of fish, but you might have the opportunity at truly a fish of a lifetime. That's a beautiful fish. There's another one down there right now. And that's how it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one after another here for a little bit. So our goal is to catch as many as we can here in this first hour as that sun's coming up.
Fishing 411 is brought to you by the Ultimate Sport Show Tour. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Fishhawk. Fishing without a fishhawk is called boating.
Set one fish down. Not a big fish, but I haven't even released the other one yet. I already had another one come on the screen and grab it. You know, just a little guy. We'll throw him back right now. Grab this other one. Go ahead and get that one back too. Well, I got no lines in the water, so I guess I got to get rebaited up and get back down. When it comes to ice fishing for walleyes, typically I'm going to give what I call a 1-2 approach. Now it's super cold today, and so I don't want to be outside my ice shelter. I got the heater going, it's comfortable in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a 1-2 approach of a jigging rod right here. I'll change that lure out throughout the day, but that's my aggressive jigging rod. Now if that fish comes in aggressively, he's probably going to hit that presentation. But if they come in a little more lethargic, in the case we're going to use a dead stick. Again, that 1-2 approach. A dead stick is just like it sounds. It's a jig and a minnow, about a foot off bottom, and I don't touch it. I let that fish come in real slow and lethargic, and if they're just not aggressive and charged up, chances are they're going to hit that dead stick. So depending on the attitude and the activity level of each one of these fish, it's going to depend on if they're going to bite the dead stick or if they're going to bite the jigging rod. I'm going to give them both options and see which one works best today. There's a fish. Yeah, not bad. Boy, I had to work that fish. I yo-yoed him up and down and up and down. But I was able to get him to bite. Just a nice eater-sized Lake of the Woods walleye. You know, he definitely didn't come in super aggressive, but aggressive enough to be able to coax him into biting. One of the things when it comes to a dead stick, you gotta have a really quality rod holder, something that isn't gonna tip over when that fish loads that rod up. And what I have right here is an accessory product from Superior Fishing Products. Basically, you can take that dead rod, you can slide it right into that rod holder. The other nice thing about it is that you can loosen it up and you can change the angle. Basically what's going on here is I got these little 1-inch track, kind of similar to the track you would see on your boat, bringing it to the ice fishing world, mounting it on the tub of your actual otter tub, and then having that option to quickly be able to throw your rod in a nice solid rod holder where when that rod loads up, I don't have to worry about the rod falling over the side or going down the hole. So Superior Fishing Products making a really cool product for ice fishermen and our dead sticks.
There's a really good reason why Baudette is the place to be on Lake of the Woods for early ice. It's situated very close to where the Rainy River pours into Lake of the Woods. And in the fall of the year, this is where all the bait fish concentrate, is at the mouth of the Rainy River. Once the Rainy River in that mouth area freezes, it becomes literally loaded with bait fish and walleyes, northern pike and sauger. And so it concentrates those fish in a very small area. As the year progresses, that bait fish naturally disperse throughout the rest of the lake, and of course so do the predator fish. So the bite early in the year is spot on right there at the mouth of the Rainy River in that geographic area. Right later in the year you can still catch fish there, but they're going to be scattered throughout the rest of Lake of the Woods.
There's one. Well, that fish smoked it. They come up fairly quick here when this 9 foot of water. Come on, baby. Line your, oh yeah. That's a good fish. Man, he T-boned that thing. Oh man. Let's pull this one up and show him off. That is a great Lake of the Woods walleye, and he absolutely T-boned that glide bait. Came up and just smacked it. Man, that's so much fun. So we've been seeing some fish today that have been really lethargic, and then they come up to that dead stick. But you know, there's still enough fish, even with this big cold front, that are aggressive, and that's why you gotta have a jigging rod. All right, we get this one unhooked here. And I think that one's gonna be another perfect one for the table. And have a little fish fry with that thing. Beautiful walleye. We're gonna throw him right over here. Drop back down and get another one. There we go. Give me another little eater. Oh yeah. Boy, that fish came up real slow. He's probably sat there looking at the dead stick for, you know, 3, 4, 5 minutes before he finally took it. And you got that little eagle clawed tungsten jig right there. You know, I don't feel like tungsten's super important for this type of presentation, but it does allow you to have a smaller jig and keep that heavy weight. Like this is an 1/8 ounce jig, but it's got that small profile. And today, with these fish being so lethargic, I like being able to have that heavy jig, but still a little bit smaller profile for them.
The Lake of the Woods trip is a trip every year that Jake does with his uncle Keith Cavaias. And it's a group of guys that go there every year. Many of these people are scattered all over the country, so it's maybe the one time a year they actually get to fish together. And they always go to the same resort. They go to a place called Adrian's. Now, if you haven't been to Adrian's, it's kind of the epicenter of ice fishing in Minnesota. It's at one resort, and they have a little bit of everything for everyone. They have accommodations there, of course. They have a beautiful restaurant where they'll actually even cook your fish for you right there at the restaurant. They also have these hard shacks that you can rent, so if you don't have any ice fishing equipment, you can show up there, rent one of their ice shacks, and go out and have a beautiful day of ice fishing. They have a lake road that they actually maintain to get you out on the lake and back off the lake safely. So Adrian's offers everything an ice fisherman could want on top of world-class walleye, sauger, and northern pike fishing.
Fishing 411 is brought to you by VMAX Batteries and Whitewater Fishing. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Big Bite Baits and Steel Shad. Smoker Craft Incorporated and Suzuki Outboards presents the 411 on fishing.
You know, when you're trolling slow like we are today, I think that walleyes are very good predators. I think they'll see a bait, swim up behind it, typically follow it before they decide to eat it. And because they are so efficient at what they do. And so what we like to do is put a little bit of fishing scent on the bait itself. And ProCure is the one we like because it's a natural scent. It's actually made with real bait fish. And what that does is it puts a natural scent stream in the water. So if a fish comes up behind that bait, naturally he's going to see it first. He gets attracted to it, he comes in closer. If it smells like something good to eat, there's a pretty good chance he's actually going to strike that lure. So it's a refinement in trolling, but we find that having just a little bit of scent of the lure makes a big difference, especially on those days when the fish just aren't snapping that good.
There's fish. Oh, a lot of all that ice buildup. It is so cold today. There we go. That fish just inhaled it, man. Look at that. Can't ask him to eat it any better than that. You know, like 17, 18-inch walleye. If I open up his mouth here and show off that jig and shad wrap, man, that thing is pretty much gone. Man, it is brutal cold today. We've had a lot of lethargic fish come in, but we're also picking away at some, you know, obviously very aggressive fish. So we're gonna keep at it. And, you know, I might not have a voice, but there's a lot of walleyes on Lake of the Woods. Oh man. Now this one, this one's gonna take a minute to get in. The big pike. I've got a pretty light action rod here and just a jig. I don't know if we're gonna be able to land this, but we're gonna give it a try. Helps pass the time anyways. We're trying to find a walleye. This is a big pike. This is a really big fish. I could see him plain as day on my live scope. I knew that if he bit, I was gonna have my hands full. Let's see here, I got rods laying all over. Oh boy, I just saw him, he is big. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's getting tuckered out pretty quick. I mean, I don't know. That's a big fish. I got him hooked just perfect. We might have a chance of getting this one in. We'll see. Don't want to speak too soon. I figured the fight would be a lot longer than this, as big as this fish is. So we'll take our time. The only way we're going to get this thing lined up just right is to take our time. It is a big, big Lake of the Woods pike. See, you got his head coming up the right way. There we go. Let's pull this thing up. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now that is a Lake of the Woods Northern. It's just a medium action 32-inch rod, light tackle. I didn't think there was any way I was gonna land that fish when he came in on the live scope. I know he was a big fish. That is an awesome Lake of the Woods pike right there. All right, we gotta get that big fish back to swim another day. Man, that was a lot of fun. What a gorgeous Lake of the Woods pike right there. Pretty much fills that hole. Give her a second to breathe. There she goes. Oh, she kicked off. That was so much fun. Time to get another one. We definitely aren't here to catch pike, but there's nobody that's gonna turn their nose at a big giant northern like that one right there.
You know, when it comes to catching walleye and sauger through the ice, it's really a straightforward process. There's really 3 groups of lures you absolutely have to have. And of course, the first one will be leadhead jigs. Leadhead jigs are deadly effective on walleyes. You can fish them with a whole minnow, you can fish them with part of a minnow. The other thing that's very effective are jigging spoons, and there's a lot of good jigging spoons, flutter style spoons, that work really well on Lake of the Woods for catching walleye. And the third group of lures you have to have is something I'll call the jigging swimming lures. These are lures that when you drop them, they kind of swing out in the side a little bit. They cover a little bit more water than maybe what a spoon would, or what maybe a leadhead jig would. So if you've got those 3 groups of lures, if you've got leadhead jigs, you got spoons, and you got jigging swimming lures, you got everything you need to catch walleyes on Lake of the Woods.
Fishing 411 is brought to you by Cisco Fishing Systems. Fishing 411 is brought to you by ProCure, ruthlessly effective bait sense.
You know, if you're gonna use a jigging spoon like this one right here, this is a Northland jigging spoon. It's a little bit like a flutter style spoon. If you're gonna use that type of spoon, in the wintertime, I really like to tip just about everything with a minnow. Now here in my hands, I have an emerald shiner. I'm gonna take that emerald shiner and I'm gonna run it through the back of the head. That's the hardest part of the minnow. And that's gonna keep that minnow on there. Now, you can do a couple different things. You could leave the whole minnow on there, but in most cases I find that that's too big of a presentation. And so what I like to do is come back and actually pinch that minnow in half. And so it's just half of a minnow, again, just dangling down there. Now the last thing that I do is you'll see there's this little bit of a swim bladder. I like to rub the belly there and pop that swim bladder out. That's gonna ensure that that minnow is sitting perfectly straight up and down, perfectly vertical, and not floating off to the side. And so that's gonna give you a little bit of extra scent. It's gonna give you a little bit more attraction, but by tipping that jigging spoon or really anything that you're using in the wintertime with a minnow like this, really seems to increase your bites. Here's one. Nothing too crazy. Not bad though. Very nice. You know, that fish just absolutely smoked it. I think from the time I saw him on my Garmin unit to the time he bit was about a second. Pretty aggressive. First ice walleye right there. There's a fish. That's a good one. Wow. That's a good fish. Get his head lined up in the hole. This is what we've been after all day. Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with a fish like that. All right, let's show that one off. That's exactly what we've been after today. That is a gorgeous Lake of the Woods walleye. I'm gonna say it's right there around 21 inches. Nice thick shoulder on these fish. And he just came in and smacked it. There was no coaxing that one into biting. He wanted it. What a great, great Lake of the Woods walleye. You know, when it comes to finding the perfect ice fish jigging rod for walleyes, I tend to fall more towards a little bit longer rod. Now this is a little bit overkill. In this case, it's a 42-inch length rod, but traditionally what I like to look for is anything from a 34-inch up to that 42-inch rod. It has to be something that's comfortable in your hands, and in this case, what I'm looking for with my package is a nice small reel teamed up with some braided line, that no stretch line, in a fluorocarbon leader. It's going to be anywhere from 18 to 24 inches, and depending on where I'm fishing, it might be 8-pound test fluorocarbon up to 12-pound test fluorocarbon. So that's your kind of basic setup that you can literally take anywhere walleyes swim under the ice and be successful. Look for that 34 to 42 inch medium to medium heavy action. A little bit longer rod gives you more control with those bigger fish. Braided line, fluorocarbon, team it up with a little reel, and you'll be ready to rock and roll for catching fish anywhere walleye swim under the ice.
Come on, baby. You're right there. Eat it. Good one. That's a better fish. Oh yeah, that's a better fish. Okay. Man, that is a gorgeous. I can't get over, no matter how many of these I put my hands on, I can't get over how much fun Lake of the Woods is on first ice. Nice thick shoulders, good eater size walleyes, nice quality fish. And I mean, man, my hands just never have a chance to get dry. Hey, my name's Jake Romanack, and you've been watching Fishing 4-in-1. We'll see you here, same time, same place next week. I'm guessing if you watch next week, it might be a little bit warmer and we might be in a boat. But I'm telling you, I'm having a lot of fun out here on Lake of the Woods.
Closed captioning is provided courtesy of Precision Trolling Data. Fishing 4-1-1 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Yakima Bait Company, Suzuki Marine, Jay Sporting Goods, Smooth Moves, Garmin, Bill Lewis Lures, Starcraft, Niagara Falls, USA, and Eagle Claw.
There we go. Oh yeah, not bad. Just another eater walleye.